WWE's business over the past 4 years was record-breaking, but these next 4 years could be a big f***ing headache.
I know you ain't just here lurking. Subscribe to Pro Wrestling Bits.
WWE saw record-breaking earnings over the past 4 years due to a series of financial come-ups that all happened around the same time. A lower corporate tax rate, higher television deals, and an influx of money from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia combined to make the worldwide leader a very, very rich company. To truly understand WWE's enviable financial success dating back to 2016, let's break down this economic dynasty in detail. In 2016, WWE benefited from a lower corporate tax rate, which was lowered to 21% under a Republican, more corporate-friendly presidential administration of Donald Trump. It had previously been subject to a much higher tax rate in the mid to high 30s the previous 8 years under Obama, and this switch since 2016 translated to tens of millions of dollars of tax savings over the past 4 years. In March of 2018, WWE made the controversial announcement that it had signed a 10-year deal with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as part of its Vision 2030 initiative. Controversy aside, the deal is estimated to have brought in anywhere from $40 to $50 million per event from WWE. Later on that year, WWE signed a pair of historic television deals in 2018, a 5-year pact with Fox to air SmackDown for $205 million per year, and a separate 5-year deal with USA Network to air Raw for $265 million per year. Both deals combined to bring in over $2 billion of revenue for WWE over the next 5 years. This led to WWE's stock price exploding to nearly $100 per share. That's one hell of a quadrennial, or 4-year period. In fact, between the lower corporate tax rate, all that Saudi money, and the massive television deals, WWE once again recorded its highest profits ever during its recent earnings presentation. That's right, WWE is one of the few businesses on the planet that can say it made more money than it ever has in 2020 during a global pandemic. But the next 4 years might not be so kind. Let's start with that business-friendly corporate tax rate. Under a Biden administration, the next 4 years, the corporate tax rate will increase. According to President-elect Biden's website, the corporate tax rate will rise to 28%, in addition to several other anti-corporate measures. With no more Donald Trump, corporations will have to pay their fair share, and as a result, this Democratic administration will cost WWE millions in new taxes. Next is all that Saudi money, or lack thereof. With so much uncertainty surrounding COVID-19, and as the nation continues to trend toward another lockdown, there's no telling when WWE will be back in Saudi Arabia. With its Saudi Arabia events on hold indefinitely, WWE will not be able to rely on the estimated $40 to $50 million in revenue per pay-per-view. Conservatively, it could be around a year before WWE is back up and running in Saudi, which could translate to as much as $100 million in lost revenue. WWE is set to renegotiate its television deals in 2024. New Chief Revenue Officer Nick Khan remains bullish on WWE's ability to top its previous record-breaking deals, telling investors, quote, "Linear TV has lost eyeballs. Viewership has not. Consumption of content across many parties is up significantly. Consumption for us is up significantly. We're confident our rights are going to continue to go up. Our ratings exceeded the NHL Stanley Cup." While the confidence is admirable and nobody knows what the television rights market will look like in 2024, it seems far more likely that WWE gets less money from its next television rights fees. After premiering to an audience of 3.9 million, SmackDown on Fox went on to lose over half its audience, bottoming out at 1.9 million for the May 1st broadcast. Even as it rallies a bit with just over 2 million viewers for Friday's broadcast, that's still a precipitous 45% decline in viewership over a 1-year period. Raw has seen a similar decline on Monday nights, as 2020 has seen both the lowest viewership in Raw history, and as recently as 2 weeks ago, Raw posted its lowest third-hour viewership ever. WWE can finesse its sinking numbers all it wants, but its ratings decline on Fox and USA speak to a larger story of WWE's entire product going ice cold. Even before this pandemic, just about every key performance indicator was down, including merchandise numbers, paid WWE Network subscribers, and live event attendance. In fact, Vince McMahon has gone on record in saying live event attendance is a barometer of how WWE is doing. But over the past several months, WWE has quietly gutted its live event business, with WWE house shows losing money in 2019. Again, even before the onset of COVID-19, it was difficult to imagine WWE increasing its rights fees given the underwhelming performances of Raw and SmackDown on USA and Fox. Fox. By the time contracts roll around, many businesses will likely be just recovering from the effects of COVID-19. It'll be difficult to imagine any of them spending the type of money on what has been a struggling television product. A Biden presidency could mean more power for a man who's quickly rising as one of Vince McMahon's rivals, former presidential candidate Andrew Yang. Yang continues to insist he will deal with Vince McMahon and WWE's predatory business practices, even if he doesn't become the Secretary of Labor. WWE's third-party edict has led to nothing but drama, with Zelina Vega quitting the company outright over its attempt to block its talent from making money through third-party deals, even though the talent is technically classified as independent contractors. Zelina Vega isn't alone in her pro-unionization stance, as Paige has also tweeted out in support of unions, even going on a tirade against WWE on a recent Twitch stream. With this labor dispute a red-hot issue heading into a new presidential administration, Andrew Yang and a host of labor union leaders like SAG-AFTRA will have plenty to work with in going after a long-time loophole that WWE has made millions exploiting. The next 4 years could finally see the first semblance of a wrestler union, which would be a monumental change to WWE's business that will limit the control it has over talent and the money that it could squeeze out of them. WWE will have to continue to deal with AEW, which it failed to put out of business in its first year despite sicking NXT on them. AEW continues to post solid numbers in the 18 to 49 demographic, and with mounting tensions within WWE and its draconian and disorganized style of business, several big-name wrestlers have already jumped ship and found overwhelming success with a rival national promotion, something that WWE did not have to worry about much of the past decade, let alone most of the past 4 years. Rusev, Zack Ryder, Luke Harper, The Revival, and Dean Ambrose are just a few of the names who have jumped ship to AEW, and as WWE's competition continues to come into its own, there figure to be more big names and disgruntled talent leaving for greener pastures before the end of 2024. Vince McMahon will only get older over the next 4 years. By 2024, he'll be 79 years old, and with his ability to lead this company already a central sticking point, he won't be any sharper at nearly 80 years old than he was even as a shaky chairman at 75. WWE doesn't really have a succession plan that its investors can sink their teeth into. Though Triple H is WWE's public-facing heir apparent to fans, this won't be enough to convince Wall Street that he can lead both the business and creative end of WWE the way Vince has for decades. Vince McMahon has insisted he will die in the chair, but if that happens and WWE doesn't have a clear-cut line of successors, its once massive share price will only continue to decline. WWE's last 4 years were a magic carpet ride of cash money and financial windfall, but from 2020 on, expect a lot of turbulence for WWE with the once dominant promotion at a crossroads.